We were sitting in the kitchen after dinner. Just the two of us. She had barely touched her food, pushed it around her plate like it offended her. Then, out of nowhere, she slammed her wine glass down on the table. Hard. It shattered on contact. Red wine splashed across the wood, bleeding into the cracks like it was trying to escape. "I'm leaving you," she snapped, eyes sharp as glass. "I've decided. I want a divorce." I didn't yell. Didn't even blink. I picked up my phone, already open to a message I typed hours ago. One click. Sent. She flinched when her phone buzzed, like she hadn't expected me to say anything. She picked it up slowly, eyes narrowing as she read the message. Then her expression changed. Confusion. Then panic. Her mouth opened slightly. "Wait, where did you get these?" I didn't answer. She stared at me, then back at her phone. Her thumbs hovered like she wasn't sure whether to scroll or throw the thing. "I don't know what this is. I didn't." Her voice cracked. "I didn't mean it," she said, tears brimming but not falling. "Please, can we talk?" I looked at the red soaking into the table, the broken stem of the glass, her shaking hands. It wasn't rage in me. It wasn't even heartbreak. It was clarity. I didn't stand. Didn't raise my voice. I just said, "So you want to leave?" She opened her mouth again, but nothing came out. I pointed to her phone. "You were going to blindside me, thinking you'd keep the upper hand. That message? That's your boyfriend's dating profile. SugarBabyDreams.com. Real subtle." She blinked hard. "It's not what you think." "You're right," I said. "It's worse." "I didn't think he was seeing anyone else," she whispered. I let that hang in the air. Then she reached across the table as if the mess between us wasn't real. "Please. Let's go to counseling. We can fix this. I made a mistake. I didn't mean to hurt you." I laughed softly. Not because it was funny. Because it was so expected. "Why now?" I asked. "You had your speech ready. You were going to walk out with your head high and leave me to wonder what I did wrong. But now that you know you weren't the only one, you suddenly want to talk." Her hands dropped to her lap. "You thought you were holding all the cards," I said. "You thought ending this was your power move." She shook her head, but the shame was already setting in. Her breath hitched. I thought if I ended it first, it'd hurt less." "Hurt who?" I asked. "Me? Or you?" The room went still again. Just us and the blood-red wine bleeding into the wood. And a silence thicker than any fight we'd ever had. She wiped at her eyes. "I didn't think it would come to this." I leaned back in my chair. Neither did I. But it had. And now she was sitting in front of me with a phone full of betrayal and no more leverage. She thought she could break it off and walk away clean. She didn't expect the glass to shatter in her own hands. It started with the shoes. About 2 months before that night in the kitchen, she came out of the bedroom wearing heels I didn't recognize. Classy, expensive-looking things. The kind you wear when you're trying to make an impression. "Big day at work?" I asked, still half asleep, clutching my coffee like it owed me money. She barely glanced at me. "Networking lunch. Might be some people from upper management." That was the first Wednesday. The next week, same thing. Another Wednesday, another new outfit. Hair done, perfume I hadn't smelled on her in years. "Same networking group?" I asked. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Yeah. We're trying to do them weekly now. It's good exposure." Exposure. Right? By the 3rd week, I started noticing the phone. She kept it face down at dinner. Took it into the bathroom with her. She used to scroll TikTok openly while brushing her teeth. Now, even a text alert made her freeze up. One night, I got home early. Had this dumb idea to surprise her with flowers and lunch. Just show up at her office and say hi. Her assistant blinked at me like I was a stranger. "She's not in today. Off-site all afternoon." "Oh," I said, trying to keep it casual. She told me she had back-to-back meetings. The assistant shrugged. "Could be a client thing. You want to leave something on her desk?" I forced a smile. "No, it's okay. I'll just catch her later." When she got home that night, she dropped her bag like nothing happened. "Long day?" I asked. She sighed, flopped on the couch. "You have no idea. I was in meetings from noon to 5. I stood there in the kitchen holding a bottle of wine I suddenly didn't feel like opening. I didn't say anything. Just nodded. "Bet you're exhausted." She smiled, again small, distracted. "Yeah." That night, while she showered, a message popped up on her phone. Just one word, "Can't wait, Jay." She had no idea I saw it. I was across the room tying up the trash bag. But I saw it. And just like that, I stopped guessing. From that moment, I started collecting. I didn't go full detective, at least not at first. Just little things. Screenshots. Notes to myself. Dates. Times. What she wore. What excuse she gave. The next Wednesday, She wore red lipstick and a blouse I'd never seen. Another networking lunch? I asked, watching her carefully. She nodded, adjusting her earrings in the mirror. Same group. I smiled back. You really like Wednesdays lately. She paused, caught off guard for half a second, then smirked. Middle of the week. Gotta break it up somehow, right? A few days later, I checked her car's GPS history. I knew her usual routes: home, office, grocery store. But there was a new address. Repeated. Always on Wednesdays. Downtown. Close to a boutique hotel. I plugged it into Google Maps. Hotel Geneva. Interesting place for a professional lunch. That night, I waited until she was asleep to write everything down. The shoes, the messages, the GPS hits, the weird timing, the shifts in mood. It all started to line up. The thing is, she wasn't even that careful. Not really, because when you think you're in control, you get sloppy. She'd scroll Instagram with her brightness turned down, thinking I wasn't paying attention. But I saw the name Jay pop up more than once. I watched her delete messages, thinking I didn't notice the gap in timestamps. She even laughed at something once, alone in the kitchen, like someone had just said something flirty. That laugh used to be mine. I wasn't angry, not yet, more like waiting, watching, letting her believe I was still in the dark. Because if she thought she had the upper hand, she wouldn't change her behavior. She'd keep going, keep slipping, and I needed her to keep slipping. It was the kiss emoji that did it. I wasn't sure who Jay was before that. Could have been a colleague, a friend. But when that little popped up next to her name, all doubt disappeared. She wasn't just lying to me. She was living two lives. And she had no idea I was watching both. After I saw that kiss emoji, I made a burner email account. Nothing fancy, just something untraceable. I created a fake name, picked a blurry profile photo, and started following some of the women Jay followed on Instagram. I figured if he was bold enough to send my wife kiss emojis, he probably wasn't keeping a low profile elsewhere. The first woman I messaged, let's call her Tessa, responded within an hour. Thought I was just another guy looking to flirt. I kept it vague. Said I'd seen her tagged with Jay before, that I was trying to figure out what kind of guy he was before getting involved with him romantically. She ate it up. Oh my God, she replied. He told me he was only seeing me now. That got my attention. She didn't stop there. Said she met him 6 months ago through a sugar dating site. Claimed he was different from the others. Real smooth talker. Had her believing they were exclusive. Then she sent screenshots, texts, DMs. One of him saying, "You're the only one I care about now. I want to be better for you." The timestamp? Wednesday. Same day my wife was networking. I thanked Tessa and kept digging. I found another girl, Miranda, who had posted a boomerang of her wine glass clinking with Jay's over dinner. Same boutique hotel I saw in the GPS logs. I asked her if they were together. She said they used to mess around. But she cut things off after finding out about the other girl. I didn't ask if the other girl was my wife. I already knew the answer. Then came the third woman, Haley. She was different, more cautious at first. Thought I was catfishing her. But once I told her what I was doing, just trying to understand what this guy was really about, she cracked. He's full of it, she said. He told me he was working late the same night I caught him in someone else's apartment. I asked for proof. She sent a video, short clip, grainy, taken from a parked car. But there he was, Jay, coming out of a building with a woman who looked an awful lot like my wife. They kissed before getting into his car. I stared at that clip for 10 straight minutes. Paused, rewound, played it again. It wasn't just about catching her anymore. It was about knowing how long this had been going on. Haley even gave me his dating profile. Same username Tessa had mentioned. Looking to spoil one special girl. The bio? Discreet. Generous. No drama. I printed everything. Screenshots, texts, hotel receipts posted on his socials, the video clip. I made copies and stuck them in a file folder. On the front, I wrote in black marker, "For when she tries me." Then I waited. Every morning, I kissed her goodbye like nothing was wrong. Every night, I smiled and asked about her day. When she made up excuses to stay late at work, I nodded and told her I trusted her. She was so confident, so smug. I could see it in her body language. She thought she had me wrapped around her finger. She thought I was clueless. That's what I wanted. I even played along when she said she wanted to book a weekend away with her coworker friends in October. She told me it was a female bonding retreat. I nodded, told her to have fun. Then I marked the date on my calendar. Not because I believed her, but because I wanted to see where she really went. By then, I knew everything I needed to know. I knew her routine. I knew his schedule. I knew when and where they met. And most of all, I knew she had no idea I was tracking every step. Some nights, I'd lie in bed next to her, listening to her breathe, wondering how many lies you have to tell before you start believing them yourself. She'd roll over, kiss my cheek, and say, "Goodnight." And I'd whisper, "Goodnight," right back, holding all her secrets in the dark, waiting for the moment I'd finally turn on the lights. Because this wasn't about catching her anymore. This was about letting her build her fantasy life just high enough for the fall to really hurt. She poured herself a drink like she was about to deliver a TED Talk. It was a Friday night. I'd just finished doing the dishes. She walked in with her usual mix of wine and fake calm, settled onto the bar stool across from me, and sighed like the weight of the world had landed on her shoulders. "I've been thinking," she said slowly, swirling her glass. "About us. About everything." I didn't look up. Just dried my hands and waited. I already knew where this was going. She straightened her back and folded her hands like she was reading from a prepared script. "I think I need to find myself. I've been feeling stuck. Like I've been carrying the emotional weight of this relationship for a long time." Ah, there it was. The classic monologue. She paused for effect, waiting to see if I'd interrupt. I didn't. She continued. "This isn't easy for me, but I think it's time I move forward. On my own." She even dabbed the corner of her eye like she'd been practicing it in the mirror. I nodded slowly. "Okay." That threw her. Her eyes flicked to mine. "That's all you're going to say?" I picked up my phone from the counter. Not quite. One tap. One text. She jumped slightly when her phone buzzed. Pulled it from her pocket like it was burning through the fabric. I watched her face as she opened it. First, confusion. Then stillness. Then her whole expression collapsed like someone had flipped a switch and drained all the power out of her body. She stared at the screen, frozen. I leaned on the counter. "You rehearsed that exit speech, didn't you?" She looked up, her face pale. "Where did you get these?" I shrugged. "Doesn't matter. What matters is that while you were busy planning your grand escape, your side piece was promising forever to 3 other women." I didn't know, she started, voice cracking. "You didn't know?" I repeated, letting that hang. "So what, you just meet up with strange men at hotels every week for lunch?" Her lip trembled. "He told me I was the only one." I laughed. "Couldn't help it." "You believed him?" She blinked hard. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "No," I said. "You just wanted to leave before I figured it out. You wanted to be the one walking away. Clean. In control. With the sympathy points." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "We could try counseling." "I mean it. I want to fix things." I shook my head. "You don't want to fix things. You want to save face. There's a difference." She stared at the floor. Her shoulders slumped like she suddenly realized the performance was over and the curtain wasn't coming back up. I stepped around the counter and stood in front of her. "For weeks," I said. I smiled. "I kissed you goodnight. I asked about your day. And you thought you were getting away with it." Tears rolled down her cheeks now. "Please, Aya. You don't love me," I said. "You love the version of me that didn't know. That you could lie to." Her phone chimed again. Another message. She picked it up and gasped softly. "Oh my God." I didn't even need to ask. I knew what it was. Jay's profile, flagged for suspension. Probably more girls outing him for the liar he was. "Guess he wasn't the one," I said flatly. She looked up at me like she wanted me to fix it. Like I'd ever do that again. "I made a mistake," she whispered. I took a step back. "No. You made a choice." Over and over again. She tried to stand, but her knees buckled a little. I didn't catch her. "I don't know who I am without you," she said, voice shaking. I shrugged. "Then I guess you've got some soul-searching to do." And with that, I turned off the lights in the kitchen and walked out. Behind me, she stood there in the dark, clutching her phone, surrounded by silence she never expected. The script had flipped, and this time there was no applause. I moved out that weekend. No screaming match. No drawn-out conversation. Just the facts. I packed my things in silence, room by room. Took only what was mine. Left the rest exactly where it was: photos on the walls, knickknacks on the shelves, her books on the coffee table, like nothing had changed. She followed me from room to room for a while, asking if I was sure. If we could at least talk. If there was a way back. I didn't answer. Didn't argue. I had no words left for her. Instead, I handed her a manila envelope before I walked out the front door. Inside were the divorce papers. My lawyer had already drawn them up clean: no alimony, no demands. I didn't want the house. Didn't want to fight over furniture or savings or who got which dinner set. I just wanted out. She texted me later that night, "Are you really doing this?" I didn't reply. By Monday, her sisters had reached out to me privately. One messaged, "We didn't know. We're so sorry." Another simply wrote, "I always thought she was lucky to have you." Funny how everyone finds their sympathy once the truth's already hit the floor. My mom called too. Said she heard what happened. When I told her I didn't want to get into it, she said, "She cheated, didn't she?" I was quiet. "Well," she said after a pause, "then that's all I need to know." The next day, she blocked my ex on everything: phone, email, Facebook. Said no one who hurt her son got to call her mom again. Word spread faster than I expected. Her friends stopped commenting on her posts. Her cousin unfollowed her. One by one, the support system she thought she could rely on started to disappear. Jay? Vanished. The moment my proof hit his world, he went dark. His sugar dating profile went offline. His Instagram turned private. One of the women I'd talked to said he ghosted her, blocked her number, deleted their chat history like it never happened. The man she thought she could leave me for turned out to be as loyal as a paper umbrella in a storm. And now she was left sitting in the house we used to share alone. I let her keep it. Not because she deserved it, but because I didn't want the memories. Every creaky step, every dent in the wall, every smell in that kitchen carried ghosts I had no interest in living with. I found a small apartment across town. Nothing fancy, just enough. Enough space to breathe. Enough distance to forget. She tried reaching out again. Called once. Left a voicemail saying she still loved me, that she couldn't stop thinking about what we had. I deleted it before she finished. She sent one last message through my lawyer asking if we could sit down one last time for closure. I told my lawyer to reply with 2 words, "Not interested." Because I wasn't. Not in hearing her try to spin the story. Not in letting her rewrite history to ease her guilt. Not in pretending there was anything left between us worth salvaging. The truth was out. The lies were dead. The performance was over. She used to think silence meant weakness. That if I didn't yell, it meant I didn't care. But now she understood. Silence isn't weakness. It's what's left when someone finally stops playing a rigged game and walks away for good. The new place was quiet. I found a 1-bedroom apartment on the edge of town, nothing fancy, beige walls, squeaky floors, a view of the grocery store parking lot. But it was mine. No memories clinging to the walls. No phantom arguments echoing down the hall. Just silence. For the first time in years, I had space to think. I started running in the mornings. Nothing serious, just a couple laps around the block, some music in my ears, air in my lungs. First week, I could barely make it a mile. By the 3rd, I was running 3. By the 6th, I dropped 20 pounds and slept better than I had in years. I bought groceries I actually liked. Cooked things just for me. Spaghetti 3 nights in a row if I felt like it. No judgment. No pretending to like quinoa or kale because someone read it was heart healthy. Fridays became poker nights again. A couple old buddies I hadn't seen in ages reached out after they heard the news. "Man, I didn't even know something was wrong," one of them said. "You never complained." I never did. That was the problem. But now? We play cards, drink cheap beer, tell bad stories. It feels good to laugh without the weight of pretending everything's okay. I stopped checking her social media 2 weeks after I moved out. At first, I watched out of habit, half expecting to see her post some half-baked quote about growth or choosing yourself. But it never came. Just filtered selfies and the occasional wine glass by candlelight. Eventually, I blocked her. Not out of anger, just peace. She sent one more letter through my lawyer. Handwritten. Said she was ashamed. That she still loved me. That she wanted a second chance to do it right. I didn't open it. Didn't even break the seal. I told my lawyer to trash it. She had her chance. She cashed it in the second she decided a side piece with a dating profile was worth more than a husband who showed up every day. I didn't need closure. I didn't need her to explain what went wrong. I lived through it. I saw it unravel one little lie at a time. The only closure I needed was in the quiet, waking up to a place where nobody was lying to me. Where my phone didn't buzz with half-truths and excuses. Where the only footsteps I heard in the morning were my own. People kept asking if I'd started dating again. I told them no at first, wasn't ready. But one day at the dog park, yeah, I got a dog, a lazy mutt named Cooper. I met someone. Her name's Rachel. She teaches 5th grade and knows nothing about sugar dating sites or networking lunches. She reads real books, laughs with her whole face, and doesn't check her phone every 5 minutes. We're taking it slow. No pressure. Just 2 people figuring things out, one morning walk at a time. The best part? I don't feel like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. No secrets. No games. Just peace. And after everything I've been through, that's all I ever really wanted. Funny thing is, she still tells people she left me. I heard it through a mutual friend, someone who didn't pick sides, just passed it along one day over coffee. She says she walked away. He told me, eyebrows raised, said the relationship wasn't working and she needed to find herself. I just nodded and sipped my drink. Let her say whatever she wants. I know what really happened. I know how she slammed that wine glass on the table, how she rehearsed her little speech thinking she held the power, and how everything flipped the second her phone buzzed. I don't need the credit. I don't need the pity. I sure as hell don't need people to take my side. What I got was better than that. I got out, and I didn't look back. I still see her name pop up sometimes, people tagging her in old photos or commenting on a memory from years ago. But I scroll right past it. Doesn't stir anything in me anymore. No anger, no longing. Just nothing. That's how I know I'm really free. Rachel and I are still taking things slow. No rushing. No rushing to define anything or prove anything. We cook together on Sundays. Watch dumb movies. Walk Cooper until he flops over in the grass and refuses to move. She doesn't ask about my past, not unless I want to bring it up. And I don't most days. Because I'm more interested in what's ahead than what's behind. And if there's one thing I've learned through all this, silence hits harder than shouting. See, she wanted fireworks. She wanted to slam the door and leave me stunned and speechless so she could walk away like the misunderstood victim. She wanted people to ask what happened and hear her side first. But instead, she got nothing. No begging. No fighting. No drawn-out war over who hurt who worse. Just silence. That's what really shook her. She expected a breakup with drama. With fire and screaming and slammed doors. What she got was a cold, calculated exit and a text that ripped the curtain off her performance in one click. That's what she never saw coming. And now? Now she's the one left explaining. Spinning half-truths to anyone who'll listen. Pretending it was all on her terms. Let her. I don't care if the world thinks she walked away first. I know what I walked away from and what I walked into. Peace. Self-respect. A new life where I don't have to second-guess every smile, every story, every I love you. She lost everything chasing a fantasy. And I walked away with my pride, my freedom, and a clean slate. No yelling. No spectacle. Just one broken wine glass and a silence that still echoes.